So I am doing like the best job ever at procrastinating. Like, it makes no sense how skilled and qualified I am at procrastinating, except for the fact I'm making this video to procrastinate. What am I supposed to be doing? Let me tell you this. I woke up this morning at 5 a.m. ready to do my yoga. I started around 7. I did 10 minutes of a 40-minute yoga. And then I remember I needed to check on the bunnies with the babies. And I ran out there and did that. Then I came back in and the chef is cooking. Have you ever done yoga with like a potato garlic mix in the atmosphere? It don't work. It don't work. Then I went and had like 2 business meetings. The yoga, let me show you. The yoga is still on the screen. Mid-pose stopped. Mid-pose stopped. And so now I have put myself through this challenge of 100 push-ups a day, except for Sundays, and at least 5 minutes of meditation a day, except for Sundays. And that's all I got to do now. I don't have to do the yoga. But the push-ups. So I have found every reason. There's breakfast. Not to, because I didn't believe you could meditate on an empty stomach. I cut a video. Girl, cut a video about to post. These gray hairs is from the bunnies. I'm just not going to fight anymore. Done had like conversations, emailed a couple people, checked things, checked visas, did everything to procrastinate. So now I'm just calling myself out. But, of course, I have to give y'all a story. Because what good is procrastination if you don't find another reason to procrastinate? So in the video I'm posting now, I slipped up, almost cussed. I said ass, but I tried to change it. But I did slip up and say something about me living in Liberia. And I don't talk about Liberia for a lot of reasons. None of me being traumatized. Like, I'll talk about Liberia on my Patreon. But I ran away from Liberia. I did. I ran away. Like, I slipped off in the middle of the night and caught a flight. Because that Liberia situation was different. And I'm going to sit here and say this. I did not leave Liberia because of some, like, governmental or Liberia is crazy kind of stuff. It was literally the situation that I was in. And that's one reason why I don't talk about stuff. Because, y'all get the whole truth, I was working. Woo! I still don't like talking about it. I was working with the church. I'm not going to say which church. I was working with the church and saw and learned a lot of things. So without me talking about too much, because I'll probably tell y'all more. When I tell you I ran away from Liberia, like, that is the little truth. Because basically I was told I would get 2 tickets a year. And so, like, part of my contract. So when I went there, once I got there, I was getting ready for Christmas. I was like, hey, where's my ticket back so I can go for Christmas? And they were like, oh, no, you get 2 tickets a year, like a ticket here and a ticket back. And I was like, hey, nobody break that down to me like that. So I was already I was mad about that. So I actually spent Christmas in Liberia. And I was mad because you don't know things. Like, when I tell people you have the right to be dumb, I was dumb. And I allowed myself to get paid as a local. Like, I was getting $500 US a month. And I was like, oh, that's great. Whatever. I was like that. And they were like, yeah, such and such, such and such. Once I got to Liberia, you can think you local all you want to. You ain't going to be treated like a local. You're not going to live like a local. You're not going to do anything. And, like, literally they would look at me. And it was Mzungu. Well, it wasn't Mzungu in Liberia. It was just a white girl. Because I actually had one of my nieces come and say she was crying to her mom saying, I want to see my white auntie today. So I was like, girl, take her to see her white auntie. Like, she crying like she can go see her white auntie. She said, we did. That's why we're here with you. Chick, I ain't your white auntie. I ain't your white auntie. Like, that hurt me. But the little girl was only like 3. So I was like, when you get older, I'm going to tell you what melanin is. But going back to the living, like, that $500 was a joke. That $500 a month was a joke. And I wasn't paying rent. It was just literally eating, all that other stuff. And then the lady who I was living with, which I have to be careful about that conversation too, was making me go half on the food, which was making me mad because it's like, I don't eat what you eat. And that's another thing because you be having like United States taste and you be wanting to come in like she was getting Raisin brand cereal. Well, that Raisin brand was like $10. And so I was like, I'm good with eating oatmeal. Like I would eat this little 50-cent oatmeal or eat an egg for breakfast. And we would have to split things in half. And I was just like, man, so it was like drinking up money, all this other stuff. And I tapped into my own savings to live out there. So it was only 6 months. Because it was just to me like, y'all really did kind of lie about this situation. And that's not why I left. But between that, a lot of stuff that I saw, like, I'll tell y'all in different stories. Like, people was not being treated correctly. Lies, corruption. And I more so was like, I didn't like the terms I was under when I lived in Liberia. And I was really trying to change the terms. So I was looking for jobs and stuff. But at the end, it was just like, yo, it's time to go. So I had my homeboy Ron. Like, I met Ron to this day. That's my ride or die. I don't remember his number no more. I love him. But I called him like, yo, there's a flight leaving out in 3 days. Can you make sure I get to the flight? Because he had a car and stuff. He's like, yeah, I got you. He's like, what do you need? I said, I ain't telling nobody. Like, I'm literally just getting on the flight. Because I didn't want nobody stopping me. Oh, this is where the whole issue with Christmas came. Because I couldn't go home for Christmas. I was really hurt. I was tore up about that. And then my boss who brought me out there went home. Like 2 weeks after Christmas. She went home and went visit and left me by myself, which I had no issue with that, but it was just a lot of stuff because when she left me by myself, then she told me I was responsible for like the house bills and all kind of stuff. And it was just like, wait a minute, I'm here working for you. It was just a lot of bogus stuff. And then the person who came in, I'll just say Miss Elaine, was a lifesaver. And she just really helped. She tore off the mask because I was thinking things were a certain way and she was telling me the truth. And that's when I was just like, okay, this wasn't a good situation for me. And like, did I love Liberia? I loved Liberia. I loved the people. Loved the people. I loved the lessons I learned. But the things and how I was there and the corruption of us, man, crazy. So anyway, I called him and I was like, yeah, I'm out. Like, I'm tired. I'm out. And so I was teaching at the school, all kinds of stuff, college and everything else like that. So literally I made sure like I finished their classes as soon as the semester was over. And I then told like a couple people who I did care about, like, psst, hey, you ain't gonna see me no more. Don't say nothing to so-and-so, but you ain't gonna see me no more. And like I said, this story is deeper. It was a couple of people who were just really just evil and hatred towards me. And it made life living in hell on purpose. Don't know if y'all remember the story about the pig, but that girl really had a lot more power than she needed to. And that's the thing. And I'm going to tell you, this is where I learned my thing. Because she called me, like, I heard that you was leaving. I was like, you can hear whatever you want to hear. It is what it is. And she was like, I knew it. Ha, 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 ha. You ain't strong enough to be here. You really ain't as good as you think you are. Like, that's how I really realized, oh, bitch, you really is crazy. And you had it out for me the whole time. She's like, you ain't good. And I just looked at her and I said, you know what? Let me tell you something. And this is a motto to me for this day. I said, you ain't gonna feed me bullshit and talk to me about the nutrients. Because there's nutrients in bullshit. There's nutrients in shit. Shit is made of nutrients. But at the end of the day, it's still motherfucking bullshit. You are not going to turn around and feed me bullshit and talk about the nutrients. And I hung up on her ass. I'm so proud of me for that saying. Like, that's one of my mantras. When people be like, what's your life? Like, how do you get through life? I be like, there's a difference between bullshit and a difference between nutrients. Bitch, you know which one you want. And which end are you receiving? Are you in the front of it or are you in the back of it? Because it's real. So, anyway. So, I whispered to a couple people, psst, I'm out. And then out of respect for the lady who brought me, I called her the day of me leaving, left a voice message. I was slick like that. And went to the airport like at 10:30, 11 p.m. at night. Went, had my bags, everything else like that. Told them, drop me off. Like, I'm out this piece. Bam. Got to the airport. Got to the airport. Meant to say girl, boy. Got to the airport. They're like, well, ma'am, we're ready. We have your flight, but your bags are overweight. And I said, okay, cool, no problem. I said, so what's the protocol? They were like, oh, you need to pay $50 per bag, so that's a total of maybe like $150. And I said, okay, here's my credit card. Oh, we don't take credit cards. You an international airport. Yes, but we don't take credit cards. But this is Delta Airlines. Yes, but we don't take credit cards. So I said, okay, so we have a problem here because I have the money to pay. You just don't have a way to accept the money. Don't feel like that's my fault. I said, I'll make this easy. You take cash, right? They're like, yes, yes, we take cash. I said, okay, so show me the ATM. I'm just gonna pull the money out, give you the cash. We don't have an ATM. So y'all don't have a credit card machine. Not that it's broken. You just don't have a credit card machine and you don't have an ATM for me to pull cash. I said, well, just bill my account. And like when the flight attendants get me in the US, I'll swipe it there. And they were like, well, no, we can't do that. We need to have the cash to get on the plane. So I told you I'm already running away. I'm pissed at this point. And I was like, you know what? I ain't even here for all this. I'm tired. Like, I need you to make this make sense. Like, I'm trying to leave and I feel like the forces is against me trying to leave. Like, y'all gonna keep the shackles on my feet so I can't dance. Like, this ain't gonna happen. This ain't gonna happen. So I throw open my luggage right there. I throw my luggage right there, and I got like clothes and all the stuff I was trying to take back to people. And I was like, just take it. I said, there's enough little naked kids running around in the street. They was dirty. And I was just throwing clothes left and right, all in the airport, just throwing clothes. Like, go ahead and take it. What size? It's a size. I don't even know the size. Just here. I left two good outfits. That made me mad. I left two good outfits. But I was just throwing them. I'm throwing. And then by the time I finished throwing, I grabbed the suitcase and threw it back on the weight machine. I said, is it enough? And it was, and that's how I got on the plane. And then, honestly, I don't remember the flight back. I remember I told my mom to pick me up from the airport, and I told her to get me to a hotel with a bath and hot water, because that was another issue we had. We didn't have hot water. Like, I was boiling water to make a bath or whatever else like that. So I was bathing out of a pail, not to waste but water. Like, it was just a mess. And so I told her to get me into a hotel. She got me into a jacuzzi. Now, I should get her here for this part because she could tell you. She got me to some hotel. I don't know what in the Coming to America hotel this was. It had a big ass jacuzzi inside, and she threw some soap in there. And I laid my ass in that hot tub jacuzzi with the big bubbles. The bubbles was over my head. She couldn't even find me. It was a heart-shaped thing, honeymoon suite. I stayed in there for an hour. It felt so good to scrub. I remember that to this day. I just scrubbed, child. I was so happy. And when I got out of there, I think I went straight to sleep. And my mom said she went because she had to drain the water because I'm trifling. And she said it was a whole ring. That's so nasty. It was a ring. She was like, oh my God, like, what has my child been through? I think she went ahead and like lit some candles and prayed for me. And then I told her I needed a week in a hotel just to detox. And I did. I stayed in a week in a hotel, didn't talk to nobody. Didn't do nothing. I think then I chopped off my hair too. Chopped off my hair. That's a whole nother story about Liberia and my hair. Yeah, and it took me a week. And then after the week, then I went and met with the lady who took me out there, so I can amend that, because he was a family friend, and I mean family friend. Like, her and my grandmother grew up together, so I was like, I could not break and mess up that relationship, so I needed to calm down enough to do that. And then that's how I came back. So that's one reason, like, when people talk about stuff like I've made mistakes, like, I understand. Like, when I left Liberia, when I say I ran away from Liberia, I ran away from Liberia. I had to come back and get my mind, which didn't, like, that's a whole nother conversation because I'm really procrastinating. Because some of the decisions I made when I came back, girl, oh my God, some of the decisions that I made. But, no, it took me like a week. It actually took like maybe 3 weeks for me to be like, whoosah, and then I found a job and everything else. And like, once I think things in God's timing, like, it's so much stuff, because my grandfather fell ill right after that, and I was there able to really spend that quality time with him and stuff. So I'm not mad. Liberia was not the end for me in that way, not against the country. It was the way that I was there. Like now that I know, and that's why I tell people to plan or do things, because you can try to live like a local. It's not going to happen, because they look at me, they looked at the way I walked, my accent, how I talk, and I got really good at trying to mimic them. But you just can't fly by night and be in a comfortable situation that you're used to. It's real. It's very real. And it's not about like the corruption. Like it's very real when I talk about planning and stuff. Because I ran away from Liberia. I ran. I ran.